Hello and welcome back to the Nerd Paradise podcast with me, your little Asian that could, Marky B.
Your concerned citizen Harvey, man
and
on the
your
streets.
and your spawn of hell, Matthew.
Oh, it's going to be okay. Off air, just to tell you a bit of what's going on behind the scenes. We kind of looked at something for our news, and Matt's pretty pissed. So let's start off with the news before one of us dies.
Yes, let's start with the good news from E3, shall we? You know, the good stuff. The stuff that doesn't make me want to go on a murderous rampage.
You sure? Because you said you wanted to get all your anger out first.
Let's start there, because if I go right to the angry, I may black out and wake up with covered in your guy's blood.
Oh dear.
So we'll start with
That'll
the
bring the
Nintendo.
property value down.
We'll start off with the Nintendo.
Yes, Nintendo. So, Nintendo did pretty much what people expected it to do this year, with one or two little surprises, but nothing too big. Obviously, they showed off the Wii U, more stuff of what it can do. Nothing that you haven't seen from online commercials of it, but at least you know that the stuff on the commercials works. Not too many games announced yet for it, but like any Nintendo system, you can pretty much guarantee there's going to be the top 3: Zelda, Mario, Metroid.
Definitely, always a Mario game for launch.
Which is kind of it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, if you think about it. Because it's always been based off of those 3.
Well, yes, but you see, unlike other systems like PlayStation and Xbox, at least when new games come out for those series, there's actually something new to do in those games. There's actually something different. Unlike the generic shooters that are constantly being spewed out for those systems, where it's shoot your gun and survive till the next level, essentially, for most of the time. Maybe occasionally you'll get some different items or some other objectives, but essentially it's aim and shoot and survive.
Drop your gun on the ground to pick up another one from off the ground, because clearly these things fall out of the sky.
So that's it for Nintendo, I guess.
Well, no. Come on. The little 3DS, the little system that could and shall deliver games like another Castlevania game where you can play finally as a Belmont again.
It's about damn time.
Yeah. Yes, finally the Belmonts are back in the game after a couple of games' absence. Most notably the DS game. Was it DS?
Order of Ecclesia?
Yeah, Order of Ecclesia.
Which I will totally vouch for as a good game.
Oh, it's a good game, but I'm just saying that we're back to the Castlevania protagonists. The Belmont family. You've got a Paper Mario game coming out for the 3D.
Oh, I've seen that one. I'm pretty interested in that one.
Yes, thankfully they're going back to more RPG elements, unlike what they did for the previous game, which honestly was not favorably received. We've got another Super Mario New Super Mario Brothers game,
like usual. So,
and of course the one that I'm kind of looking forward to is a new Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon. I mean, yeah, sure, it's gonna have similar mechanics to the previous game, but it's for the 3DS, and
live the gimmick.
Honestly, it's still a fun game, and Luigi needs the spotlight more often.
Even though he's going to be in the dark.
Oh, there we go again.
Yeah, in the dark, but I'm pretty sure a green guy with a vacuum strapped to his back will still stand out in the dark.
As soon as you turn your back, anyway.
Yes, but then you're transparent. The ghosts turn transparent if you look at them. Booze.
Exactly. When you look away from them,
they're not.
They come at you.
Yeah, but they don't exactly use regular booze in the Luigi Mansion game.
Only the finest booze.
Yes.
Comes straight from, Japan or Russia.
Yes. Premium vintages. Alright, moving on to... let's go in the order of which this pisses me off in, shall we?
Okay, before we do that, I want to say something that I'm interested in from Sony. And it's just the whole PlayStation All-Stars game, which as a kid, I've always had a PlayStation, other than the occasional Nintendo system when I started it.
And he also finally picked up Xbox too.
Yeah, but I've always been more towards
Treacherous
those.
bastard.
I've always been more towards those two. So the next one of the games that are
the
is
Evil
announced.
Corporation and Satan's Armpit. Guess which one I'm talking about?
So the one so again, the game I'm looking forward to is PlayStation All Stars, which is basically it's basically Brawl but for PlayStation characters.
Ooh, such an original idea from Sony. Oh wait, that's not the first time they've copied Nintendo?
Well, again, it's just I want to see a crossover with some characters. Like I know the Brawl was good, but again, all I had was PlayStation stuff back then when it was really popular.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Brawl is still going to be better. PlayStation's not going to be doesn't officially own a license for half the characters people want to see in this game.
Well, for one, I want to see, of course, Spyro, which is not well. Let's go on to what the announced characters will be. First, you got Kratos from, of course, God of War, and then you have Papa Rappa the Rapper, which is one of my favorites.
He's gonna be a bad mamma jamma.
You know, I can even say part of the line from when he was doing the karate thing.
Let's not.
Why not?
Because we don't need another rapping Asian.
Fine. We also have Colonel, the guy from Killzone. I can't pronounce the name because I don't really play Killzone.
Not many people do.
We also have Fat Princess from the Fat Princess games, and Sly Cooper.
Real all-star cast you got there, Sony.
Actually, some of it sounds pretty interesting.
Interesting, but it doesn't have all its biggest
I
sellers.
forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And the game that one of the games that put PlayStation on the map, Twisted Metal, Sweet Tooth will be in the game as well.
Yes. But again, you don't have Spyro because he belongs to somebody else. You don't have Solid Snake because he belongs to somebody else.
Crash Bandicoot
You belongs to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who else. Off the top. Let's see what else is big for Sony.
Well, you got the Final Fantasy games, but I know they're
They're not. You got nobody from Final Fantasy in this game.
Yeah. I suppose Onimusha is not exclusive to Sony anymore.
Nope.
'Cause that would be really cool.
Essentially, the cast of characters in this game are all Sony exclusives, and unfortunately, the way Sony does its games, they don't have too many exclusives
anymore.
Yeah. So, good concept. A bit too late for it.
It should have came out when
It should have been a PS2 game.
I'd be interested if they put the Ape Escape kit in there.
Either way, it should have been a PS2 game when Sony was at its highest standards with some of the best games it had at the time.
And before they really learned how to share.
Yeah. Alright, so other than that, Sony announced something really stupid. Continuing its constant butchering of Harry Potter and its fumbling of the Pottermore website. You got the Harry Potter spellbooks now on the PS3 network. You connect to the site through there, and you got a wand controller, and you use that to play the games on there and learn the spells. What the fuck? Okay. Sony, when will you realize that these days the average Harry Potter fan is my age?
Well, our age.
Yeah, but I'm talking about my perspective here. You guys aren't as into Harry Potter as I am.
True, we're also not raging quite as hard as you are.
Yeah. So yeah, they're around my age here, people. We don't care about waving little wand things at the screen. We don't care about these little gimmicks. What we want is just a nice, simple site that works, doesn't crash every now and then. By every now and then, I mean every other week. Actually gives us content that works. The point system isn't freaking broken. The potions classes actually work. And so many other problems. And the fact of the matter is that while I can deal with the delays, you at least the people at Pottermore, more than likely not connected with Sony, are good with announcing their expected dates for things to be released. So I've got no problem with the fact that Chamber of Secrets, the full thing, is not going to be released till near the end of the year.
Pardon that pause there, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew had to push the vein back into his forehead for a moment.
By the way, can you give me some popcorn? This is getting amusing.
Honestly, like, whoever was working on Pottermore and was trying to figure out who will run the site, whoever you are that decided to go with Sony, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You can make a drinking game out of this.
Honestly, my God, have you not seen what Sony has done with their online stuff?
Just give me the booze.
Final Fantasy 11. Does that ring a bell?
Card over there.
Okay, does that ring a bell, people? That game fucking sucked. And let's continue on with Final Fantasy flops. 14. That game was so bad that they had to return money to the people that bought it.
Let's track back a little bit. Over here, Final Fantasy XI didn't do well. Over in places like Korea, it did really well because it was really big for their whole market of MMO games is incredibly grindy, so it fit in perfectly over there.
But its storyline was also something that failed there for MMO people.
Yes.
It was far too generic. So still, in Korea, while they like the grindy part because they're used to it, and they still didn't like the fact that for a Final Fantasy game, its storyline was generic as fuck.
Yes, but if you're gonna make it's really overly ambitious for them to try to make a solid storyline as a Final Fantasy game and make it an MMO because that's crazy.
It's crazy, really, but it's not impossible. Look at Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, but look how fucking long they put that in production for.
Yes, and don't you think that Square Enix, on its title that made it what it is today, would have put more effort into it?
You would think so, but I'm sure they're also rushing to get it out when the MMO spike was really going up.
The MMO spike's never trying to go down. MMOs are the top way that players interact with each other, especially in Asia, because they don't like shooters.
Yeah, so the reason why Xbox is going down there.
So if you're going to do an online game, and you're going to do it for a game that's going to be popular in Asia, by God, you at least do a good job. Instead, 14 is worse than 11. And I repeat, so bad that they had to do refunds for a game.
And sent out emails of apology to the people that bought it.
Shit don't get that bad since the E.T. game. The only difference is the E.T. game had shit graphics.
Now, see, that's the
that's not an excuse because that was graphics at the time, anyways.
When I hear Final Fantasy MMO, I just don't buy it. Like, I know it. I mean, they can give me all the bells and whistles to it. Describe to me what I'm not gonna buy it.
But I digress. Either way, whoever you are that decided to go with Sony for Pottermore, you're on the list. Okay? And it's getting longer by the day, people.
ET phone customer service.
There is no customer service. Welcome to hell, motherfucker.
Now on to Microsoft.
Yes, Microsoft.
This is going to give him a second vein. Actually, no, a fourth vein.
Yeah, let's start with what I'm actually interested in first. Okay? Calm myself down before I rage again. Halo 4.
Nice.
Yes, well, I understand. It's more milking it. It's more of the same. But honestly, at least the Halo games had a decent enough storyline, a good history behind them, and it gave birth to Red vs. Blue, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, Halo is not one of your generic shooter games.
Yeah,
and it's not. It's a kind that doesn't try really hard to be realistic, which personally I find really boring.
Yeah, like they did a good. The Halo games are always a fun game to play, especially with other people, just because they're not the generic. You're just part of some army contingent, and you do this and that to get through the level, or you're a lone soldier and you gotta get through whatever war you're being thrown into.
Well, in fairness, look at the chief.
Yes, but that's just the base of the game.
Yes.
Beyond that, you got a whole universe, a whole storyline, a whole history there.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Halo rings, the history behind them, the Flood, the infection of it. You've got the Forerunners themselves. You got the Covenant. You've got so many other things bringing together an actual fluid universe where there's cause and effect. Things happen. There's consequences. It isn't just some Earth history game like generic World War II game number 253.
Yeah.
There's a story behind it, and I'm actually interested to see how the story continues, and I hope they do a good job. I know Bungie's not part of it anymore. It's just straight up 343 Industries. But they still were on the Halo games, and they did a good job with Reach.
Mm-hmm.
So I say go for it. Make it good, make it entertaining, and have Cortana go batshit crazy on us.
Oh, yeah.
Because by now, she's full on rampant.
Cortana is another bad Mamma Jamma.
And now going on to the final thing at E3, at least at this point in E3, it's still going on for a little bit longer, that pisses me the hell off. A new Gears of War's game. What? A sequel, you say?
You can just hear the cogs turning in there.
I will kill you. I will kill you with a chainsaw bayonet.
At least I did it before you got started raging.
Harvey.
So, yeah. A sequel to Gears of War 3. Why? They won. They killed the Locust. They had a decent ending.
Apparently they didn't kill them all.
A main character had to fucking die in the game to accomplish something. And it was a very good and honorable death. He went down fist swinging.
It's not locust anymore, it's cockroach.
They survive everything except a good solid stump.
And Raid.
Yeah, there's that too.
What the fuck is in that stuff?
Funny how that is more powerful against the roach than a nuclear explosion, but you know.
Yeah. A nuke won't kill a roach, but apparently whatever the hell is in a can of Raid will.
They have terrible AC, but their magic resistance is crazy high.
But I digress. So yeah, a new Gears of War game being touted as a sequel. So who are you fighting?
Maybe each other.
Well, if they were going to do that, then they could go and make it a prequel, because before they fought the Locusts, they fought each other. That's where the Hammer of Dawn came from. There's a whole backstory there that they could use if they wanted to do that.
Well, now maybe everyone's bored because no more locusts, so they fell back in. Never know.
Not enough humans left on the planet to do that.
That's why it's a stupid idea.
Well, duh. Okay, there's milking a franchise and there's the stupid ideas. Okay? I can accept milking a franchise. Like I said, I've got no problem with a Halo 4. None whatsoever, even if it is an obvious milking of a franchise. But at least you're continuing a story that you set up on from Halo 3.
Yeah, Microsoft is up at 5 in the morning milking that franchise like a good hard worker, so at least you know it's going to be okay.
There was no sequel baiting in Gears of War 3. It was a definite ending. There is no... Where do you go from there? Okay? This is just as bad as a Disney sequel.
Most Disney sequels.
There's only one good Disney sequel that I will attest to. Okay? The Adventurers 2 Down Under. It's better than the original.
Rescuers.
The Rescuers, yes.
I've heard actually some good things about the Aladdin sequels.
The only decent one are the ones where they actually get the full original cast back. Which is...
Prince of Thieves?
Prince of Thieves, yes.
Yeah.
Where you get Robin Williams back again, finally.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, not that great. Because honestly, it's just a rehashing of the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just Jafar comes back, la-di-da. At least in Prince of Thieves, there's a whole story and stuff happens. But yeah, so Gears of War 4, people. It's a thing now.
It exists. It's going to be coming to a shelf near you. Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Yeah, so as I've heard some people saying this week that they're not impressed with Nintendo for what's revealed at E3. Please give me some examples of what exactly has been revealed by Microsoft and Sony that isn't either copying what Nintendo did first or just more of the same that they've released constantly. Well, anyone?
I'm not keeping up.
Again, I'm not really... I'm the more of the... Even though you reveal it to me, I have to see it before I, make my full judgment on it.
Yeah, well, either way, like, I can understand people liking the games. I'm sure there's reasons to like them, but there's no reason to say that Nintendo did a bad job at E3 when the best that Microsoft and Sony did are either copying what Nintendo has already done or just releasing games that are essentially just the same games they're constantly releasing. Overall, from information from E3, it's not as good as it used to be when it was closed to the public.
So wait, they've reopened it now?
Yeah, it's open to the public now. You don't need just a press pass to go into E3 anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, as of last year.
And so now it's becoming a lot less.
It's more of a convention.
fanciful
It's more of a convention now than
a show.
Show/press event.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it did better as a press event because they actually revealed stuff that was worth revealing. Mind you, you could also attribute that to less internet leaks happening, of course, but still.
Mm-hmm.
E3 is not as good as it was in its heyday. It's still great to be able to play demos of these games that aren't going to be released till God knows when. But please, people, figure out what age group you're targeting, Sony, because you sure as hell don't know what you are doing. Okay, Microsoft, you're on the line with me. You got one game I'm looking forward to coming out and one game that really shouldn't be coming out. And Nintendo, I'm looking forward to what you're bringing out. But please throw in some more oomph to your presentation, some more pizzazz.
I don't think they announced it at E3, but I thought I heard that for Microsoft, they're going to be releasing another Baldur's Gate game on the N360.
Not that I heard, at least not from E3. Speaking of, they did talk more about the next Fable game, Fable the Journey, for the Kinect.
Uh-oh.
Not looking forward to that.
No one is! Even Peter Molyneux has nothing to say about the game. And you know how he loves hyping up his Fable games. So you know it's bad when Peter Molyneux can't say anything about it.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Run and hide, people. Run and hide. The Kinect is going to kill the Xbox. Alright, so that's E3 news. Any other news you guys want to add now that I've gotten that out of my system? Oh, look, you're still alive.
Sun's still shining, too.
Well, I got some movie stuff, but they're only rumors and conjecture. I don't know whether I should.
Go ahead. Rumors, conjecture, it's the internet.
Well, for one, guess who's remember how I said there might be a RoboCop film coming up? Well, guess who might be in it? He swears a lot.
Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
If he's playing RoboCop, that'll be interesting.
That would be pretty cool. See,
you know, speaking of movies, actually, I do have some other stuff I can mention. This past weekend, I went to see Men in Black 3, barely avoiding very bad shooting at the Eaton Center here.
You're not going back into that. I think it's already all over the place.
Yeah, I'm not going into that. If you heard the news, if you read the paper, if you haven't lived under a rock, you know what it is. But anyways, Men in Black 3, it's a good movie. It's got good laughs where they want you to laugh. It's got action where you want to see action, suspense, a good story, a good connection between the characters. the guy who played the young Agent K. Honestly, the guy needs to find a career impersonating Tommy Lee Jones because he did an amazing job. If only for that.
Hello, Vegas.
Yeah. Like, he did a great job of doing a young Tommy Lee Jones, essentially.
I do have a little bit of game news, actually.
Go on.
It isn't released yet, but they're coming out with Torchlight 2. And a lot of people really love Torchlight as a small, kind of more cartoonish Diablo clone. Their biggest gripe about the game is that there was no multiplayer. There's no co-op, there's no online, it's all only yourself dungeon delving, and I can attest to, after a while, it gets boring and repetitive. What they're doing with Torchlight 2, there's actually going to be online co-op and online play, and all real time with other people.
That could be good, yeah.
Not to mention, it's going to be a little less one-dimensional with your character selections. There will be apparently 3 new player classes you can choose from. You can be male or female with either class, which before was impossible. And you can actually customize the way your character looks a little better. So I'm pretty excited for that. I love Torchlight.
That's cool.
And the fact that the new one will be functioning a lot better as a dungeon game, I'm totally into that.
And now, for a fusion between movies and games. Disney's new movie could be out in November. The 3D movie Wreck-It Ralph.
I've got to say, from what little I've seen of this, I'm already totally looking forward to it.
I gotta say, props to Disney for paying out the licensing fees to like everybody, essentially.
Yeah, they have. Basically, it's John C. Reilly voices the antagonist in an old arcade game, and you go inside the game and you see that he's very tired of his life because his job. He's the
villain.
This is sounding a little more dramatic than I really mean it to be, because it's really not.
But it's a decent Disney movie, so there's got to be some actual dramatic parts to it.
He's tired of his job. He doesn't want to play the villain. He gets no appreciation for doing what he does. So they show one scene where he's in a support group for video game bad guys.
And honestly, that one scene had to cost Disney an arm and a leg.
Because you actually see, not carbon copies, you see actual other villainous characters from other franchises.
You got Bowser, you got the ghost from Pac-Man, you got characters from Street Fighter.
Yeah, there's Dr.
Eggman.
Dr. Eggman from the Sonic
You got
universe.
Ganondorf.
It was
pretty
awesome.
For that one scene, Disney really shelled out some money, honestly. Good for them.
Yeah, so you gotta tell by that they've got to be confident in this to actually make that bold of a purchase.
Yeah, because you know that any money this movie makes, some of it's going to go to the owners of those characters.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that Disney wants this movie to do well. I'm a little bit skeptical that they didn't try and push it for a late summer release.
Mm-hmm.
But especially since, honestly, what's coming out in August again?
Out in August?
The last big movie people are looking forward to for the summer is Batman. That's in July.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man too.
Yes, The Amazing Spider-Man's coming out.
Yeah. But yeah, so what's exactly coming out in August? That's another thing. Nobody takes the opportunity to release a blockbuster in August anymore. Like last year, Disney had a screw up.
Well, because part of the deal with August is they do a North America release. They have to do it so it's consistent. Problem here in Canada, it's not a problem for us, but the school season doesn't start again till early to mid-September. In the States, it starts early August.
Yeah,
so that's less time for people to be going to movies.
It is, but that's only in the States that it does. Everywhere else in the world, it is September.
Yes, but that's why their North America release is going to be straight up.
Either way, though, I mean, it's a mistake Disney did make last year when it released Winnie the Pooh against Harry Potter.
Yeah, that was too bad.
Yeah, I mean, could you have waited at least a week, Disney? Just a week. We don't ask for much.
It was pretty great to watch the Winnie the Pooh movie. It
was a good movie. It was nice to see it hand drawn. I'm glad they didn't go with the CGI route like they were planning in pre-production.
Oh
But to release it against Harry Potter, the top grossing movie of that year. One of the most anticipated films of the decade.
It was a fool's errand.
I really believe somebody got fired.
I'd like to make an amendment to what I said earlier. I don't know if it's necessarily a new Baldur's Gate game, but it is Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, and I'm currently looking into what that entails.
So while he's doing that, I actually have another part of E3 news. It's another game for 3DS, and it's been a staple for now for the DS. It's Scribblenauts.
Oh, I forgot to mention. Yes, the new Scribblenauts game is coming out.
Scribblenauts Unlimited, which what I'm looking up here is just it's interesting because they will actually give some backstory to Maxwell, which I don't know how that's going to work. If the game's whole premise is just the puzzles and just...
Mark, if they can give a backstory to an Italian plumber that his first game appearance was essentially him fighting a gorilla, I think they can handle this.
Scribblenauts always fascinated me because you could actually punch in almost anything, and either it would give you exactly that in the game, or it would interpret that into something else.
There is some constraints to that.
Yes, it is marketed as a kid's game after all, so there are certain things that it won't create for you.
Yes. Unlike the Monster Rancher game.
Oh, yes. We're not going there. Until another one comes out and I figure out you can actually do another one like that.
Fun times Mark had on the DS version of Monster Rancher.
Yeah. So, any other news, or shall we wrap things up and move on?
I think that's pretty good for now.
Yeah, I think so. I raged a bit. Everyone's still alive.
See, we have soon next week. It'll probably be me because last week it was Harvey, then you, then if the pattern goes, it's probably going to be me next week.
Well, we shall see what happens next week. All right,
he's going to erupt like a Filipino.
So we shall go for a little break right now. And when we come back, you shall learn the reason why I haven't completely snapped on anyone yet. Thank you.